Have you ever bought poisoned fruit? You know the world. What are the deadliest fruits? And you know what? All around us. Some seemingly harmless fruits. It's actually highly toxic. Take one bite and you could die. All over the world, almost every year, people accidentally ingest these poisons. Fruit eventually kills. The root cause of this is a lack of awareness. So what exactly are these fruits? Silently threatening our lives. Why are some fruits known to be poisonous? But it has to be sold on the market. This video, Black Rabbit, will take you leaders to understand together the 10 most dangerous poisonous fruits in the world. Hello, I'm Black Rabbit. Leaders who enjoy this type of video, please like and support it. Thanks. The 10th one wants watermelon. If you were to walk in an arid desert, when I was thirsty, suddenly found a lot of small watermelons growing on the ground, remember not to eat, because it is a very poisonous watermelon. Eating not only doesn't relieve thirst, instead it will speed up dehydration. It can even be fatal. The scientific name of this little watermelon is medicinal watermelon, also called desert gourd. It is native to tropical Asia and Africa. It usually grows in some arid desert regions. The appearance of this melon, it looks like a normal watermelon. But there are significant differences in size. What about the weight of the medicinal watermelon? About 2 to 1.5 kilograms. Cut the peel. The pulp inside is white and very dry, basically no moisture. All parts of this plant are highly poisonous, including vines. If eaten by mistake, it is likely to be life-threatening. So I saw wild little watermelons in the desert. Be careful with sick food. Don't eat indiscriminately. 9th, cashew nut. This alien is unique. The delicious nuts are me. A common snack in our daily lives. I believe many leaders have eaten it. But you know what? Cashews are not processed before. In fact, it is highly toxic. This is a pear-like fruit in front of you. It's the whole cashew nut, and that big seed at the top. These are the cashews we often eat. Cashews come with a shell. Its outer shell contains a light, toxic substances for cashews. It is highly corrosive. Once it comes into contact with the skin, it will cause redness, swelling and blistering, severe even ulceration and inflammation. If you are not careful, I ate unprocessed raw cashews. Can cause edema and breathing. He suffocated. Extremely dangerous, so I want to make cashews a delicacy. It requires complex processing. Then remove the shell before eating. This is why the price of cashew nuts on the market is so common. One of the reasons why they are more expensive. Because I want to remove it completely. Toxic substances on cashew nuts. It needs to go through a considerable number of smashing processes to ensure safe use. 8th, star fruit. This fruit is ubiquitous in supermarkets. Its unique shape after being sliced, it will become a little star. Very beautiful. But under this beautiful exterior, in fact, there is a very deadly danger hidden. Because the inside of star fruit contains large amounts of oxalate and this substance is eaten by normal people. There is nothing abnormal in the body. But if it is someone who has kidney disease, it could be fatal. People with uremia, people with kidney failure. Anyway, as long as it is a kidney-related disease, never eat star fruit because of the oxalates and salicin in star fruit. It has to be filtered by the kidneys. If there is a kidney dysfunction, the toxins cannot be filtered properly. It builds up in the body and causes poisoning. Danger. if you feel unwell after the trial. Be sure to get someone to drive to the hospital as soon as possible. Treatment. Concave seventh nightshade. This little black fruit in front of me is nightshade. He goes by many aliases. People in different regions have different names. The dominant ones are the chimpanzees. Black court, black beans. Others call him a pepper fan. With lantern grass, this plant, almost all over the country, from the warm and humid south to the cold, dry north, you can find traces of it. Trust many leaders. I ate this fruit as a child. But you know what? Immature nightshade fruits and young leaves. It's actually highly toxic. Its fruit contains something called nightshade base toxin. This toxin is usually present in. It doesn't happen until 6 to 12 hours after ingestion. Fever usually occurs after poisoning. Symptoms of diarrhea and drowsiness, if you take too many doses, may also lead to arrhythmia and respiratory failure. This toxin is mainly concentrated in green, in immature nightshade. If it is a mature nightshade, after the fruit turns black and purple, toxins are greatly reduced, can be eaten directly. The sixth vertical trade route. This is similar to floating. Irritable plants are vertical business roads. Chen Zun hits the road. It is a foreign invasion originating in North America. Invasive species. His whole body is poisonous, especially ripe. The highest concentration of toxins, followed by leaves and fruits. Whether it is a ripe black-purple road fruit, still immature green fruit, it's toxic. Infants and young children only need to consume a small amount of vertical fruits. Deadly. Except for fruit, its juices can also be absorbed through the skin. Direct contact can also lead to poisoning. This plant is found in many areas of our country. It usually grows along small roads in the countryside and the wasteland. The other thing is, there are lots of different kinds of roads. This vertical order is the most toxic one. Who is going to hit the road? The most obvious feature is that his bedocene is sagging. The overall plant height can reach 2 meters, and on our homeland, the bedocene of the road is all upright, usually about 1 meter left. It's not that toxic. If encountered in the wild, the best way to tell the difference is to look at the direction of the bed. Sagging is poison. Never use. Fifth, horse pliers. Makianzi is a kind of appearance, a fruit that looks like an orange. Most of this fruit grows in some deep mountains. Laolin is in Yunnan, our country. Fujian and Taiwan provinces are both distributed. If you encounter this fruit in the wild, must not eat. It's extremely toxic. The daughter of the 3 great poisons of the ancient court. It's made with this kind of horse pliers. Horse pliers contain strychnine and horse pliers. These 2 compounds. It is a powerful neurotoxin, even in small amounts. It can also lead to death. The way to distinguish between horse pliers and oranges is also very simple. The seeds inside the horse pincer fruit are pieces. These surfaces have a lot of fluff on them. And after the orange is opened, it is just piece by piece. Although it looks like an orange, but when you open it, it's obvious. It is very different from oranges. Anyway, when you encounter unfamiliar fruits in the wild, it's best not to stuff it in your mouth. Fourth, West African lychee fruit. This is a fruit native to West Africa. The locals call it aki. The seeds of aki go in. Immature pulp is highly toxic. Once eaten by mistake, it is very likely to die. It contains a spike glycine toxin, extremely toxic to humans. In 2001, the victims of the disaster in Haiti were devastated. Accidentally ingested. ripe. Ultimately, more than 50 people died as a result. So it's absolutely very toxic. And that's why many countries have shunned this fruit. But there is only one country where people are not only not afraid. Instead, they treat this poisoned fruit as a delicacy. This country is Jamaica in West Africa. Jamaicans not only eat it, they also list it as their own fruit. They will make overripe achi, cook in salt water, and then they fry it and they make a dish. The reason why they are so bold, it's because it's overripe. The toxicity of the base fruit will be greatly reduced if cooked at high temperature. Then remove the toxic part and you can eat it. And it's doing what the blowfish does. It must be cooked by a professional chef. Safe to eat. Third, leprosy fruit. Leaders living in the south, you should be familiar with this tree. The jatropha tree is more than 5 meters tall. His branches and leaves are sticky. After breaking, it can blow bubbles outward. Very interesting. But you mustn't be curious about him because of this. Because the wasp tree is a poisonous plant. The plants are highly toxic. Its leaves, the bark rhizomes, contain white branches and leaves. These branches and leaves contain a lot of toxic protein, especially those green millet. Highest toxin content. Once eaten by mistake, nausea and headache. At worst, there is a risk of death. In addition, the fruit of the wasp tree has a high oil content. Each seed contains up to 50% oil. The oil it squeezes that can be used as fuel for diesel engines. The leftover fruit residue can also be used to generate electricity. The application value is very wide. The second, poisoned guava. The tree in front of you is untouchable. Can't cut, can't burn. It's called poison guava. Is native to the United States, a poisonous tree in Florida. He has poisonous wings all over his body, whether by contact or by ingestion. Can lead to poisoning. Its leaves are covered with burrs. Once it comes into contact with our skin, these burrs release oil. Alkaloids produce intense pain. But if he can't burn, mainly this poison, when plants are burning, the resulting smoke is also highly toxic. These thick fumes either pass through the respiratory tract, enter the human body, or basic to the eyes can cause poisoning. The fruit in the dealer's room is very similar to an apple. In local, people refer to this fruit as the little apple of death. Eat one and a lifetime will pass. First, sea mango. This is a megalopolis native to southern Asia. The fruit looks like a small mango, therefore resulting in many people are seeing this fruit for the first time. It was mistaken for a mango to eat, eventually lead to poisoning and death. Mango contains highly toxic. If eaten by mistake, it can kill people. Why do you say so? It's because of the toxin attack of the sea mango. Very similar to a heart attack. And after eating the sea mango, it will take 3 to 6 hours for the poison to die. In fact, in the early years, many people died from Jamango toxin. I never realized that I was trapped by this fruit, poisoned between 1989 and 1999. But in India, the number of people who died in the Allied countries was as high as 537. He poisons people almost every year, due to the fact that people knew less about mango before. So for a long time, no one suspected a sudden death. The deaths were caused by this highly toxic fruit. Anyway, no matter what, encounter fruits you don't recognize in the wild. Before understanding the situation, never eat it blindly. Okay, that's it for this video. Leaders who are about to make a fortune, remember to help. Blackhead likes it. Thank you.